Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
Welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II, and Occam, the franchise man, Arturo.
Laziest fucking nickname
I'm
you've
sorry.
ever had. You just said the title of the episode as
Yes.
his middle name.
Hey, fuck off. I want to see you make up goddamn nicknames like on the spot every fucking 2 weeks.
Arturo, the French fries calleros.
All right. Today, we are going to do a top 10 episode of our top 10 favorite franchises.
Film franchises.
Film franchises.
Yeah, to be specific.
Yeah.
Not
Film
French
franchise.
fries, by the way.
Which
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do, so I was researching French fries the whole fucking week, going to
Yes.
different restaurants.
He does this a lot.
Fuck my dyslexia. God
always,
damn it.
he always messes up what we're
Yeah.
trying to do here. Yes. So we're gonna try to get. We're
Yeah,
trying to.
that
We're
was
gonna
my
try to
life.
get this quick because you know how these
Oh,
top 10
quick.
episodes
Oh,
That's
go.
God.
They
There you
end
go.
up being like an hour and a
Yeah.
half to 2 hours sometimes.
least.
Do you have a method to keep us on track?
Yes, if you've watched a previous top 10 episodes, we had this system where you can only talk about your movie for 1 minute. If you want to talk about it more, we have bags of gummy bears.
We had
Our
poker
courtesy-
chips last time.
But last time we had poker chips, but this time we have gummy bear bags.
Courtesy
To
of Mia Garcia Photography.
Yeah, thank you. That's our sponsor. Please,
Yes.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
You'll see this link here or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk about it more, we toss this little bag into wherever we're going to toss it to, and we get an extra minute to talk about whatever you want.
Yep.
You could also use it to comment on someone else's film
Yes.
if you want to.
Yes.
If you feel they're not doing it justice.
Yeah, or
You
if you
wanna
just
add.
want to
For
say
whatever
how
reason.
bad of a pick
Yes.
you think
Oh,
it
there
is
you
or
go.
something
Yeah,
like that.
there you
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
that too.
Okay.
As Sam
How
is known
many of
to
those
do.
do we get? How many of the gummy bear
We
bags?
get
We get
five.
five.
We get five. So 5 extra minutes on top of our normal 1 minute per movie.
Per movie.
Yes.
So,
Now,
I love
before
that.
we
I love
start,
it.
I did want to give 1 minute to each of us to kind of go over how
Ooh.
we
like this.
did our top 10, maybe anything we want to say,
Yeah.
because I know we like to kind of talk about that for a little bit.
Yep.
So let's do that, and then we'll get into the top 10.
Sounds
You
good.
want to
yeah.
go first?
Sure. Thanks,
Arkham?
man. I appreciate it.
Franchise man.
So thank you guys for allowing me to go first. This was actually my idea
Yes,
for the
yes.
episode. We all have different ideas for episode topics, and I'm really excited to do this one. It's probably not going to be that like controversial, or we're gonna.
Yeah.
Like, it's just for me. It's just getting it out there because film is very important to me, to us.
Yeah.
And basically everything I've chosen is what is intertwined with me in my joy for movie, for my joy for cinema. It's very nostalgic.
the timer.
It's the thing.
I'm just.
Yes,
we
it's
each
well-
have a minute, and Noel, our producer, didn't start the timer.
He's, he's
still looking at
already
French fries.
he's still looking at
Listen,
French
I'll
fries.
send you my list. I have a list,
Okay.
alphabetical order. So just start the timer.
So yeah, I think it's a lot of it's intertwined with nostalgia, but
Yeah.
ultimately it's what draws the feels out of me and what
Okay.
dictates my favorite film franchises.
All right, cool. So for me, the way I picked these franchises, I looked for the franchises that have had the most quality films. Like, to me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So there's going to be a lot of franchises that are really popular that are not going to be on my list because they have way too many shitty movies, in my opinion. And
Right.
it doesn't, I feel like it shouldn't be ranked up there.
Yeah.
So some of the franchises are going to be up in my rankings. It's because I believe
Yeah.
not only have they gone on for a good amount of time, but their quality has stayed consistent for more
Yeah.
often than not.
Yep.
So that's how I picked my top
I like
10.
that.
Yeah, that's
It's very Sam.
No, and you know what? You know what? I will say that that's very similar to the way I picked my top 10 because there was at least one or two franchises where they didn't make my top 10 because maybe I just enjoyed the first and second, and then the following 9 or the following
Exactly,
6 were just
exactly.
fucking trash.
Yeah.
That's
so
exactly.
so in that situation, I kind of went with objectively. The out of these 6 movies, only 2 were good. So by definition, maybe not the strongest franchise. And then there are some, I will say, where I did go with subjectively, where I went, okay, maybe out of these 4, only 3 were good. So I had my own cutoff, is what I'm trying to say. I think
that's
Yeah.
fine.
I passed my minute. But yeah.
Let's
That's
go.
why I
All
picked them.
And before we move on, we just wanted to also establish the way we decided to define what a film franchise
Oh,
was,
yes.
because we tested about it back and forth a lot.
Multiple
It was an
text
argument.
messages. Mainly between you two. I was just eating popcorn and reading what you guys were typing with each other, but go for it.
There has to be an IP and an intellectual property that either connects everything, and it had to be at least 3 films.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything prior to
Yes.
that is not quite a franchise. Anything 3
No.
films and beyond, yes.
Yes, it's
Counts.
And
considered.
it has
Cool.
something that connects it all.
All right,
Right then.
let's do it.
Let's go.
All
Arturo,
right. Oh,
you want to start it off?
Sure.
This is your This is your pick. So you
All
get
right,
the
Or do you
Let's
want to
go.
go last and say what's there?
Oh, I see. So I'm last at the end.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
do
yeah,
math.
what-
You know
it's
what?
up to
Yeah,
you.
I will. I'll go
Okay,
last.
so who needs to go first for him to
Uble.
be last?
Uble.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Fucking piece of shit. We're
right.
starting with our number 10, right?
Number
Yes.
10. Hit it.
And we'll do
Noel.
honorable mentions at the end.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Hit the timer. The timer.
Well, I'm
Why
gonna
is
wait
it?
until
Wait,
you-
hold on.
Oh,
Should we
until-
fix
oh,
this?
until announces.
Hold on. Should we fix this? Look how tight that
You're so
fucking
close.
headphone.
He'll be fine. He'll be
That's how I
fine.
I
like
think he's
it.
gonna drop it.
That's how
He'll be
I
fine.
like
He'll be
it.
fine.
Just
All right.
don't
All right. Oh yeah.
walk.
Until you announce it, go for it. Go for it.
fuck. This kind of goes against what I literally just said a few minutes ago.
It's okay. I think my number 10 is actually going to
Bruce
be the same.
Almighty.
But this is why it's the number 10. But I'm gonna go with the Terminator franchise
Oh.
because those first 2 fucking movies were solid, especially for a man who loves
Extremely.
time travel
Yes.
and who loves fucking these missions
Dun, dun,
where
dun,
you're
dun,
trying to change a timeline,
dun,
and then you
dun,
add the the fucking
dun,
end
dun,
of the
dun.
world to this, and you add Arnold. Arnold. That's enough for me to fucking love it. But then the following fucking 4 movies we're at now, 5, God knows what it's at. Terminator fights Alien. I don't know. But fucking shit, man. I
4 more.
had to put it to number 10. If it would have stopped at 3, which 3 was fucking... maybe if it skipped 3 and it stopped like at 5, I don't know. If it would have stopped at a stronger one, I would have put it way higher up on my list.
I mean, the last
But
one arguably was the best of the sequels.
I see. That's the problem is I still haven't even seen all of them. But I just know enough to know where it wouldn't top my 1 or my 2. So that's my number 10.
All right.
I'm at my minute.
Interestingly
All right.
enough, we just happened
You're
to
not allowed,
pass
you're not allowed
Judgment
to
Day.
comment.
Give me your
You're
gummy
not- Are
bears.
you doing a gummy bear?
No.
There you
All
go.
right, all right.
Judgment Day was the other day. There's a new anime series.
Now for my number 10, and I'm also going to break a little bit of what I just said, only because this franchise I feel is like undeniable, and any top 10 it has to be in it. Even though I personally
shit. All right.
think it's is not that greatest, but it's the James Bond franchise. my
Wow,
number 10.
that was your number 10.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's undeniable because it's been going on for so long, so many movies, and
60s, right?
since like the
Since-
60s,
yeah.
and like I don't know, like 20 plus movies, however it's been. It continues to go on to this day. And I have to admit, some of the movies are good. For me, James Bond has never been a character for me. I've never really gotten into it, but I picked. I said I can't leave James Bond out, even though like if it was
Yeah.
pure personal, I would probably leave it out. But it's just so undeniable that I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make it my top 10 because it's undeniable and like fine, there it is.
Yeah.
Here you go. Don't get mad at me. I put
yeah.
James
No,
Bond in
no.
there at least.
Yeah. Go to hell, Ian Fleming. Yeah.
And that's about it. That's all I have to say about that franchise.
All right.
That's all I have to
That's
say
all I have
about
to say
that.
about that.
Would you say there's no time to die?
Yeah, no time. No time to die.
There were so many titles you could have picked
Yeah.
from. You went with that one.
You
Okay, go.
could have died another day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or
All right, so
Casino
I
Royale
like you
did.
guys' number 10s. My number 10 is hopefully I feel like one of you would have guessed it was going to be somewhere on my list.
I'm sure I know
and
all of your
the
lists.
collective IP that brings everything together for my film franchise series is the Godzilla films.
I figured it'd be in
Yeah.
there.
I know. I think I know the franchises. I think we
From-
might have similar ones.
Yeah, from the 1998 film to the MonsterVerse series
All
to
of them.
Godzilla -1. Just something about these films as a whole, and just having Godzilla be the focal point. They just tie in so many genres. There's the horror element, there's the adventure element, there's the drama element, and there's films that are fantastic, like -1, and there's films that
Oscar
are
winning.
terrible. And I'll admit to it.
-1.
And 98 is not one of them, in my opinion. But each and every single time, there's something that connects.
Sam's eyeballing his gummy bears.
to the show.
He's just going like this. Yeah. Keep going.
But
Sorry,
yes,
go.
I love these films as a whole, and now I love that there's 2 ongoing separate film series about them right now with the MonsterVerse
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
series.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get everything you're looking for between dramatic characters and just explosions. Like there's something in there for everyone, and I'm really enjoying that we're on that bridge right now. I guess you could say. And
Awesome.
so that's it. Yeah.
All right, we're rolling.
We got to
number
our
9.
number 10s.
Number 9.
Number 9 for moi.
Oobly.
This is Sam's not going to believe that this movie of mine, this franchise, is so bottom of the list, but it's. I don't know if I should actually change it now that I'm saying this out loud. I think I want to. No,
Just
I kind
say
of.
I'm
it.
scared.
It's too late to change it.
No,
now.
I'm gonna swap it with another one that I was questioning.
What?
I'm gonna do Back to the Future.
Oh,
Back
nice.
to the Future as my
Alright.
number 9 because again, 1 and 2 hit the fucking target. 3 was a little off the target, and by a little I mean could have been way closer. But again, time travel, fucking trying to change one's timeline. You didn't start the timer, but I'm gonna take it. I should have shut the fuck up. God damn it, teacher! We didn't give us homework. Fucking idiot.
You were that
This
guy.
fucking movie, and then just something about the detail, like the fact that if you pay attention, you notice small things like, oh yeah, it was Twin Pines,
Lone
Ma.
Pine, yeah.
And then now it's Lone Pine, and oh, they're bringing back this reference from part 1 to part 2, and even to part 3. So everything about this franchise was enough for me to be all in, and it's one of those. And this is one of the ways that I also define a favorite franchise for me is if I can go back to watch any of these movies, would I do it? Yeah. If I was at home flipping through the TV and I just so happened to stumble on Back to the Future Part 2, I don't care what part of the movie it's on, I will absolutely stay and wait until the next commercial break and then maybe go watch something else. But I will stay. I will linger long enough to just fucking watch it because it's my number 9. 3 could have been better, and they haven't done anything else with it. Kind of thankfully. Part of me wants it, part of me doesn't want them to touch it. Leave it alone.
Yeah,
it's good the
I
way
hope
it is.
they never. I've heard some
agree.
talks about remaking it and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure.
God,
the
do not
original-
do
I was like,
that.
no, don't
No.
ever.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No,
Quick
just the
question,
thought
if
of
I
it
may.
would have
how many time
fucking
travel
Michael J. Fox
franchises
shaking. What?
are going to be in your top 10?
So far, 2. All right.
Yeah.
My turn. My turn.
I like it.
All right. I think this next pick is gonna surprise you guys.
Ooh.
And again, I'm going against only these number 10 and 9 are going against a little bit of what I believe this list should be about. And it's the MCU franchise.
Whoa!
Damn.
I know for you guys it's probably like 1 or 2, but for
I've
me,
never loved you so
it's
much.
number 9. Again, only because it's sort of undeniable, like as a franchise, what they've been able to do and tying all these movies together. I would
Yeah.
especially say that the Infinity Saga is where they, really, created this great, sort of series of movies
Yep.
that worked in a way. Although I think a lot of the movies individually are not that great. You've heard my disdain for Marvel because of how overrated I feel sometimes it is. But I cannot deny what it is as a franchise. So yes, it's successful. Not all the movies are great. Some of them are really good. I do like some of them a lot, like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, as you guys
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think just like James Bond, this one is kind of like undeniable, and I have to put it in there, despite what my personal feelings might be.
Sam, I have never felt so close to you before.
It really?
Wow.
No, it's I like that. It's good, man. Yeah. All right.
I didn't
Go on, I
expect
feel
you to have
dirty.
that one
I
on
feel
you.
dirty.
Yeah, you should, man.
I feel dirty.
You want to shower?
I feel like I cheated on my
you
wife
need
or something.
Yeah. If your wife is Cinema, then yes, you did.
Yeah, go.
All right, my
Number
number 9. Okay, this is a film franchise from the early 2000s that kept going on, and we're still waiting for a 6th film, and that is the Underworld series.
Oh,
So-
that's yeah.
This is
That is a franchise.
an action horror franchise with vampires and werewolves, starring Kate Beckinsale amongst a bunch of other people, including Bill Nye, Scott Speedman. Yeah, I mean, again, just my love for monsters and vampires and werewolves as a whole, and then the time frame this happened, like during the whole Blade era, and like just leather and like the gothic like soundtracks and everything. Like this just was so intertwined with that. And I was so excited for it, and it's kept going on, and I've loved all these films as a whole. I happen to have Kate Beckinsale as Celine tattooed on my arm. That if that's not a dedication to a film franchise, I don't know what is.
You do.
But I'm also internet friends with Patrick Topoulos, who is the creature designer and director of the third film.
Does he watch our podcast?
I don't know. I'll ask him.
You should.
Yeah. Ask him. Ask him to
Actually,
like
I remember I reached out to him when I got Celine and about like doing
he
more
commented,
work.
right?
Yeah,
He responded,
he's wished
yeah.
me a happy birthday. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this film, and it always has an aesthetic to it. Like
Time
you see these films,
Time's up.
and you know they're these films.
Yes.
You don't want? Okay. All right. I think he's done. Go
All
for
right.
it.
What
Number
are we on?
8.
Number 8.
Yeah,
So-
we are going. This system is working.
Yeah.
It is,
No,
yeah.
I remember it's worked for us in the past. Otherwise, we'd be on number 10 still.
I think so.
So for my number 8, for the same reason that there have been multiple good ones, but probably equally bad ones, is the Matrix franchise.
Oh,
I'm the first one who can deny it. Just the CGI, the fact that it kind of set the bar
It did.
for this type of movie, whatever you want to call this type of movie. But the exchange between the characters, the use of practical effects and CGI, the aesthetic of the whole world that this is, like it feels almost like a Gotham kind of seedy underbelly. It's raining. They're in the alleyways. They're in they're buildings that are falling apart, and then you get the message that they're trying to convey, which is we are all in a simulation. You are pawns in someone else's chess game, and you don't even know it. And the only way to break out of that is by fucking taking this dive, and you find out that there's agents and the virus, and then and the part 2 maybe doesn't fall, but part 3 and then the revolution. Everything about the Matrix, for me at least, made it on my list.
okay.
That was
You
the
had
Matrix.
a hard time.
Yes.
They were glitching there.
Because I was
No.
I was so focused on the timer that my brain was like,
were
hurry up, just say
stressed out.
words. Just fucking say words.
You looked really
They won't
stressed.
even just, as long as you say words, they won't even question you.
Chicken
they won't
sandwich.
stop you. They're not going to use the gummy bears. So,
Kenny Clarkson.
it's just a revolution.
If I may
Leather.
ask, Uble, how much did the first film fuck with your perception of reality?
I'm still. You mean like if it
All
ever
right, time's
ended?
up. Are you using gummy bears? Are you
Yeah,
using
no,
gummy
no,
bears?
no, no.
Go on.
All right.
Go on.
My number 8. Now we're getting to more quality over quantity for me here. I'm going to start off with Planet of the Apes. Number 8.
Oh,
all
shit.
right.
Mostly because of the last films, really, the Caesar trilogy, and then the last one that just came
Kingdom,
out.
yeah.
I think all 4 of those movies were really good, fantastic movies. I'm not a big fan of the old films. I've only seen the original,
Charlton Heston.
the Charlton Heston. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Damn
But
dirty
they
ape.
they look so cheesy and everything that I never really kind of had the desire to go into them. But these last few movies have really made me a fan. So I think if I was a fan beforehand, this might be higher on my list. But because I'm more of a new fan now, it's a little lower on my list. But that's really all I have to say about the franchise. I just think it's been a well-made trilogy, and I think this new movie is going to start hopefully another very well-made trilogy. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Planet of the Apes franchise.
Keep aping it up. Keep bananas
Keep aping it
going
up,
bananas.
Yeah, look at that with seconds to spare.
I know. I was like, wow, do I just wait for the timer to run out?
You had time for me to
That
make
was
a
your
quip.
time to make comments.
Oh, true. Damn. All right.
Go.
Well, my number 8 is a film series that I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, including everyone in this room, that's seen all of the films. And that is the Scream film
I
series.
figured that'd be in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot
Like
of
just
horror.
the first film alone, for all that who've seen the first film and the way it revitalized the slasher genre and made it so self-aware and meta, and just this wrapping a mystery of who done it into a slasher film was so incredibly well done. You had your most profitable, bankable, I guess, actress in the film die in the opening. Just
You're
letting
talking about Neve
that-
Campbell?
No, that would be Drew Barrymore as Casey.
Oh,
Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore was the person. Oh, that's right. sorry.
You're
I took away
fine.
seconds.
I don't
And
even know
then
if Nev Campbell has died yet.
Every film she hasn't. Every film since then has always been again like very referential as to what's going on. The second film talks about sequels. The third film talks about trilogies as a whole. The fourth film goes into this at the time this whole era of like remakes and reboots and what do we do. And then the fifth film talked about the requels, which are like sequels but they're reboots, but they bring in legacy characters. And the fifth film, the most recent one, talked about franchises.
Oh shit!
Oh, I mean, I already went over my timer. I'm throwing one in.
It has to go
So-
over the camera.
And it just does it so well. And that's why, Sam, I feel like you'd appreciate them if you gave it a chance to go past the third film. And the third is still the weakest. The third is still the weakest of the film franchise as a whole. And what has been really interesting to me as of the fifth and sixth is that the films have been like have had this universal love where they're critically well accepted, and the horror community is very, very much into them. So, and this is also the team that made Ready or Not.
Ready or not?
Which one
I
was
don't know.
Ready
You're
or Not?
right.
It was the one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. She's basically in a
As in a
marriage,
rich person
and then
else.
everyone's killing each other in hide and go seek.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Played by Samara Weaving. And then they did a new film, Abigail. But like, it's just this really great blend of just brutality and horror and comedy, which these films always have been. So it's just been always very well rounded, and I love watching these. And Ghostface has become an icon, just as much as Freddy and Jason. So
Probably
I fucking
even more.
love these.
Probably more now.
I think so.
I'm gonna throw a gummy bear on this one.
Whoa!
Damn.
I do want to say that I almost, even though like this was another one that I felt like might be undeniable, but it didn't make my list. It's just as a spoiler alert.
Okay.
I've only seen the first three, and that's why it didn't make my list. But I do give it credit for how long it's been going on, and it does seem to have like a really passionate fan base that loves it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ghostface has become an iconic scary movie character. But the thing about like a lot of the horror movies, and there's a lot of horror movies that I thought about their franchise, like putting them in, but because like they suffer from like the first movie is so good and the rest of them kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like it was really
Yeah.
hard. Like
That's happened a lot.
No,
Yeah.
like I can't. And this was another one of those where like the first one was like, it's a classic. It is
Yeah.
a classic, kind of like how Halloween is a classic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then just the rest to me were just like, oh god. Well, again, 2 and 3 were just not good for me. So that's I just
Oh,
couldn't
really?
put it
Even
in.
2?
I 2 was very forgettable
Okay.
to me.
You know what?
Yeah.
Just to keep it going.
Oh!
You didn't throw it towards the camera.
Oh, I don't know what I was doing. Just to keep it going because I don't see myself using all my gummies. The reason why I don't have any horror franchises on my top 10 is I think everyone knows this. I'm just not a huge fan of the horror movies. I respect them and I appreciate them, and I know that there's a large crowd out there that loves the horror movies, Arturo included, and that's fine with me. But I watched the first one, and again, I agree with both of you guys. It's a fucking great. Like, I don't think prior to that, other than reboots of Jason and Freddy Krueger and all these other scary movies, like that was one of the like, at least that I remember, like an original like fucking we're gonna do something new. We're just gonna work on creating a mask that looks scary and then do our own fucking story. That stands out to me. So till the day that I die, I will remember Scream. If I see Ghostface, if I even just think about the movie, I'll know what it is. But even then, I couldn't put it on my fucking top 10. I don't like scary movies, man. They're scary, dude.
Because
They're scary.
It's in
Yeah.
their name.
Why would I watch it? Yeah, it's in the name.
All right.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, number 7.
7. So 7 was a movie franchise. I think I'm going to be the first one to do this that has already been brought up. It was lowered down on someone else's list. And that franchise for me is James Bond.
Oh.
There's something about the James Bond movies. Look, for me, it was, I think, that first spy character guy that, always gets the girl and saves the day, and he's fucking the man's man, and he wears the nice suits, and he always says the right words, and he's just fucking suave.
Fucks all
Like
the
that
right
that
women.
shit that stands out for me. My James Bond when I was a kid was Pierce Brosnan. And I remember loving those movies because of the cool gadgets. It kind of got ridiculous towards the end. Like at first, the gadgets were like, oh yeah, it's a exploding pen. That's believable, you know? I can see that happening. But then towards like fucking Tomorrow Never Dies or whatever that one is, they were like, this fucking, your shoes, just click them twice and they'll turn into fucking floating devices that can also fly. And it was like, all right, maybe this is kind of, maybe I also got older and I was starting to
That's
realize
very
it more.
Inspector Gadget of him.
Yes, I think that's probably why I love Inspector Gadget so much. But then these last batch of movies that came out with Daniel Craig, fucking, I was off for every single one of them. It's just fucking
Dude,
action.
Casino Royale.
It's action and it's good story and it's good acting and it's good fucking cinematography. All of them recently, so it's enough for me to put it as my number 7.
All right.
All right.
Got it in.
So my number
nice.
7, we're gonna go back to horror, and I think it's
Ooh.
one of the best horror franchises that has had the most quality films, and that is the Evil Dead franchise.
Oh, shit.
I think that Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are fucking classics of just like just horror in general. But on top of that, I know we're not supposed to think about TV shows, but there's a great Evil Dead TV
Ooh,
show.
breaking the rule. Start the timer. Just for that, start the
But
timer.
I won't talk about that. On top of that, there's been some remakes of the Evil Dead have also been very good. So I just think in terms of horror, this is the only horror franchise that I think has kept that quality of film that no other horror franchise has really done. Every other horror franchise really has that one great movie, the original, and then they just try to replicate that over and over again and see if it, gets the people in and gets the money. But Evil Dead has kind of tried to change things. Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2 are completely different movies. And then you go into Army of Darkness, it's a completely different movie.
Right.
And even when you had the remakes, they're completely different kinds of horror. It gets even darker and everything like that. So yeah, this franchise started by Sam Raimi, by the way, of the Spider-Man.
Yes. Woo!
Directed he directed
And
the
Multiverse
original,
of Madness?
the first 3.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that one. So out of any horror franchise, I think this has been the best and the most consistent.
And have you seen Evil Dead Rise yet?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen the other one.
Move it higher.
Gum.
I need to see it. I need to see it.
You
I
need to.
see it. Yeah.
It was on my
All right.
top 10 of last year's films.
I know. And as a person who just said the Evil
Gummy
Dead franchise,
bears.
I should have seen it, and I wanted to, but
Gummy bears.
I keep forgetting
Gummy
to put
bears.
it on there. Yeah, that's right.
Trying to keep us on track.
Number
Let's go,
7
Arturo.
is a franchise I'm sure is on everyone's list. It's probably a lot higher on someone's list in particular. But that is Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings.
Vete a la
Lord of the
verga for
Rings.
having that shit
It's
so
that
low on your
low?
list. ¿Cómo diablos vas a tener esa película
keep
tan bajo en tu
going.
lista? ¿Estás tú loco o qué?
Get chingados.
Sorry.
From here on out, everything is like I just love. I mean, I've already loved everything on here, but like this, what can we say? Like when these came out, it was an age before the internet. It was an age before social media, and these films still brought people together. Like I remember reading newspaper clippings on these films, and they were just they blew us all away. The interconnected story that happened, the fact that there was a thought process to them. It wasn't just a studio hashing out shit. Yes, it was based on a book, but that book was brought to life, and it was respected, and it was just adapted so well for the film, the screen. And I think it did something when nothing else was ever going to do it. And I think to this day, still, nothing has quite ever touched that of being able to adapt something and do it so well and have every film be consistently fucking amazing. And that is The Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The Hobbit, I mean,
Yes,
it's
yes,
still
yes.
in there, but
Oh, Uble, number 6.
My number 6 is a franchise that is fairly recent. It's much like Scream. It's in the 2000s, I think. It's all been born. I don't think we've talked about these movies a lot. I don't know if it might catch you guys off guard, but for me, it's the Ocean's 11 franchise.
oh shit, yeah,
That's
okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
So listen, Ocean's 11. I'm talking about the most recent ones. I haven't seen the Dean Martin and the Rat Pack ones
Yeah.
from fucking back in the 50s.
You're
or
talking about
60s.
Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Talking
What
about
about-
Clooney and Pitt and Damon.
What about the ladies one that came out recently?
Ocean's 8.
You didn't see that one?
That's why it's that's why the Ocean's 11 is higher up on the list. I'm speaking towards the 11, the 12, and the 13.
The 13.
Yeah.
The 12, I have a hard time accepting just because of it was a bunch of friend actors who said, let's have a fucking cool trip in Europe. and let's put it on a studio's dime. We'll film a movie in between, whatever, fucking make it whatever, but let's just use this as a chance for all of us to hang
Is
out
that
in
what
Europe.
really happened?
That's what really happened, dude.
That makes me
That's
want to watch that
literally-
movie again.
If you look at that
I was thinking
movie,
the same thing. Like, wait a minute, I need to rewatch
there's
this.
nothing that stands out. The storyline is not intelligent. In fact, it turns out at the beginning of the movie, at the end of the movie, it turns out, spoiler alert, that this special egg they were hoping to steal, that they were battling to steal, they knew where it was from the beginning because someone kind of gave them a little tip. So they had to go the whole movie. I'm gonna fucking put 2 fucking bags of gummy bears.
Oh,
in this shit.
Yeah,
oh.
The whole plot of part 2.
Towards the camera.
I don't know where the camera's right there.
It's right there. Just
I
put
threw it over.
What do you mean you don't know where it is?
I want my time back.
We want to give a 3D experience.
What I'm trying to say is part 2 was not well thought out.
Can
but
you eat gummies?
part
can.
yeah, it's against the rules. You're eating 10 seconds per each gummy. So the part 1, Ocean's 11,
Uh-huh.
and part 13, part 2, I mean Ocean's 13.
No,
fucking
it's Ocean's
great.
12.
12.
Jesus.
You said Ocean 13 is part 3.
Okay, fucking I'll just stop with the numbers. Part 1 and part 3 are fucking great. Part 3, the way they execute things, you know, the way you get just small snippets of their plan being hashed out, and the how they're suave and they have this gravitas, and the fact that it's set in Vegas, and just the cast alone. I mean, you got Pacino, you got Clooney, you got Pitt, you got Damon, you got Roberts, you got fucking everyone who is anyone in acting has been in these fucking movies. And for that alone, I had to put it on my list. I'll watch another one if it comes out. Ocean's 11 franchise.
I like the Ocean's 8.
I like Ocean's 11. That's good. All right,
got you
up
guys
to
to like
me.
one
Now,
list.
we're number 6, right?
Yes.
My number 6 is. Dun 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 dun
Jurassic
dun
Park.
dun dun dun
Oh, yeah.
dun 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 dun.
Hey,
Dun, 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 dun.
You're a bum, Sam.
I'm just gonna do the song. Dun, dun,
You'll always be a bum
dun,
for the whole
dun,
minute.
dun, dun.
And I'll do random lines.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, I'm
dun, 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 dun,
Is that what you want me to
dun,
say?
dun,
I'm scared.
dun,
Dun, dun, dun. Oh.
And then we're gonna move into Eye of the Tiger.
Yo,
Rising
Adrian.
up, back on
to
the
the
street.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm running.
My chances. Bum bum bum. I mean, come on, Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And then
should have.
Creed.
Yeah, and if that can include Creed as
Creed
well.
was-
Yeah, because
It's still a connected
it's part
tissue.
of the IP.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've come to love these movies even more because I've had my children watch it recently.
Oh,
They've
started
watched
boxing.
1 through 4. Actually, 1 through 5. They
Wow,
watched 1
nice.
through
Oh,
5.
damn.
Yeah, and it's like, I thought that only the first one was great, but I really, really enjoy the second one.
Yeah.
And I think the third one, despite its cheesiness, is just as good. And I'm gonna do a gummy bear here. Yeah.
Woo.
And
That's how you're doing it.
so I've grown to love these movies more now that I've kind of shared it with my kids, and I don't know if it's because of the whole father son thing, but they're so entertaining, man. 1 through 4 are so entertaining. 4 is super cheesy. They have like 20 montages and everything like that. But for some reason, at the end of that thing, when he does his speech, if I can change and you can change, we all can change. And then the Soviet guy goes, "Da, da, 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 da," and everybody goes, yeah. And it's like he fucking ended the
just got
Cold War.
goosebumps. Yeah.
Everybody thinks it was Ronald Reagan,
I
but
just got
no,
goosebumps.
it was
It was
fucking
Rocky Balboa.
Fucking
It was
Balboa.
Rocky Balboa. He ended the Cold War, people.
Yeah.
That was a true story.
Through
by the
boxing,
way.
through the art of boxing.
By defeating Drago
Yeah.
in Soviet Union when
That's
they
how it
showed
used
him.
to happen. It was either through a skiing challenge or through boxing, but one way or another, we're gonna beat those fucking Russians.
That's right.
And we did it,
And
goddammit.
we did it. And we did it
That's
because
what
of
you call
Rocky.
a metaphor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you,
And
Rocky.
I've seen the Creed movies. They're fine.
What an ending!
Wow.
Oh man! Instead of being like, and they lived to the challenge, and they fought
They
the
were
round.
great to extend the universe.
They lasted the
They were
round.
fine.
But you're like, they're okay.
They're fine.
Oh my God.
All right, Arturo, you're number 6.
Arturo?
Well, number 6 was not fine. So as I jump into the first couple seconds of my number 6, I did want to touch base super quick. You can start the number, it's fine. A reason why the Scream films also mean a lot to me now is that Damon, my son, has seen me in Ghostface cosplay.
He recognized
And he's
that.
like, he sees the mask and he go, "Papa, papa,"
Aw.
and it's just adorable. And then he also recognizes this character, which is this film franchise, and that is the Batman film series. Just as a whole, man.
Yeah.
Come on. This character is larger than life, and the films have been way more better than they have been bad. And some of the best films in this are some of the best comic book films ever. In fact, someone would argue some of the best films as a whole. I'm looking at you, Dark Knight and the Batman. And again, just the way this character and these films have continued to reinterpret. Thank you. This quintessential character from the comic books, and to modernize it and then make it relevant, and then also be very authentic to the source material, and then just the way it brings everything to life. Like, it's just every single time, for the overwhelming most part, looking at you Schumacher films, like it's done so well. And even the campy ones, fuck it, why not? I'm throwing one. Oh, back. Hold on. At the camera. Whee. And I'm sure somewhere in here is we've all loved the Batman character as a whole, and just, I mean, what it's done for just film and pop culture and nerd culture as a whole, and the fact that we've had these amazing films with it. Like, they've raised the bar like almost every single time. Like, there was a time where comic book films weren't treated seriously anymore in the 80s, and what happened? Batman 1989, and all of a sudden everything became serious again to an extent. And then Burton really, really created such a beautiful world of bringing Gotham to life and the Batman character, and we took things seriously. And then things got really campy and weird. But then again, what happened in 2006? Batman Begins, and again, just this grounding and this bringing to like this. Oh my God, the whole Nolan series, and then the film that none of us expected to be anywhere near as good as it was, the Batman. And I think that blew us all out of the water in ways we didn't expect. And I am just so excited to see the way, to see where this franchise keeps going. Yeah. And Batman.
Very nice.
Batman.
Mm-hmm. Batman. So I feel like this is the best segue that we're going to have tonight, because my number 5 is the Batman franchise. So I'm going to fucking keep this party going. Mm-hmm. The thing about the Batman is that, and I'll get to the actual Batman films later, it has spawned off so much fucking great source material. The Suicide Squad. Yeah. Fucking Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker would not exist would it not be for the Batman franchise. I will argue that it's part of that franchise.
No, yeah.
The Joker movies, fucking the Suicide Squad movies.
Bruce Wayne is in it.
All of those movies fall under this Batman franchise, and for that reason,
you're right. Yeah.
The good,
well said,
amazingly outweigh the bad in this entire franchise. And I say bad with an asterisk because it's also a victim of the era that it was created in. When the fucking Schumacher films came out, that's just what was fucking selling, I guess. I don't know.
No.
Fucking big explosions. I'm not arguing. It's a shit film. I don't want to. Let's all agree on that. It's a shit film.
It was a toy commercial.
But they tried something weird and it didn't fucking land. But still, everything else, I kind of want to use my fucking gummy bears because I still want to talk about. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Move on.
I love that Batman's there though.
Yeah.
I am going to go. I might do a last minute change here. Because
shit!
Don't look at it. Okay. Should I? No, I'm gonna. You keep fucking hitting my head, son of a bitch. All right.
So you're not gonna make the change.
My number 5. No, I'm not gonna make the change. And
you were gonna add Batman right now, weren't you? To keep going.
No. That's
Spoilers.
Whether 5 or 4 was gonna switch or not.
Okay.
I want to stick with my original 5.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say the Lord of the Rings franchise is my number 5.
All right.
The Lord of the Rings franchise is my number 5. I know it's Uble's number 1. Nobody needs to really fucking. Everybody knows.
One and my number 2.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spend much time talking about it because I'm sure Uble's going to talk about it a lot later. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is fucking great, and it won a ton of Oscars for a reason, because it was kind of the first of its kind in terms of what it was trying to do and how epic it was, and how it, as Arturo said earlier, how it adapted the books in a much better way than I personally think the books are. Like, I actually believe that these movies work better as movies than the books work as books. And I know that's a very controversial statement. But that's the way I feel. I've actually read the books. And,
Tom Bombadil
so
with
have
like
I.
a few words.
Yeah. Everybody keeps saying about that, but that
No,
was
not just Tom
perfectly
Bombadil.
cut.
Not even
Perfectly
that.
cut. That was one of the most boring parts in the
Yeah.
book. Anyways, going back to the movies.
Boromir, Faramir. stars.
It's they're groundbreaking trilogy, and I actually think the Hobbit trilogy is pretty decent. I think it's a little underrated in my
Yeah.
opinion.
You know, I
it's
agree.
a decent trilogy, and they've done well with that one as well. All right, on to you, Arturo.
Ooh, my number 5. All right. Let's see here. I think I forgot. Just let me refer my notes. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Here we go. A film franchise that's meant to me a lot since 1990 something. I forgot the date at the top of my head. But that is Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
It made the list.
/ Jurassic World as it's become known to be. Yeah, man. I mean, that first film is still the most defining film of my childhood to me.
Wow.
And just like this overwhelming just like appreciation for like adventure and sci-fi, and it has that element of peril and horror just enough with like the raptors and the T-Rex. And it's just a movie I remember buying on VHS and just being flabbergasted at its amazingness. Not only was it just did it have dinosaurs, which I was already in for, but it was such a
Dinosaurs.
good fucking film. Our producer is shaking his head. No, everything okay?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought something was happening.
he's having issues.
And then these have kept going, and for better or for worse, they've kept going and just keep bringing more to this universe. I will say that the last one is arguably the weakest, but as a dinosaur nerd, I was just so excited to see dinosaurs on the screen that we haven't seen before, like the Giganotosaurus and Tyrannosaurus. But yeah, Jurassic Park, man, just that theme song, forever my favorite, and I love these fucking films.
The first one is great.
Yeah.
Uble. Your number
That one
number
got me-
4.
got me to say that one. So, all right, we are at our number 4. So, my
Yes.
number 4 is probably one that people thought would be higher up on my list.
The Lord of the
Just
Rings.
because that one didn't even make my list. Actually, it was that one or Air Bud, and I had to go with Air Bud.
Of course.
I had to stick with the fucking joke. Otherwise, what's the point? No, my number 4 is a victim of the number of properties and branches that have soiled it, and that is the Star Wars franchise.
Oh.
The Star, as much as it means to me as a person and the effect that it had on my life, I am basing all of that on the original trilogy. Those were the ones that had the effect on my childhood mind. Those are the ones that really shaped a lot of things. That people that I know, people that I talk to, fucking music everything that I do now as an adult. Not everything, maybe, but a lot of what I do as an adult was because of this franchise. But it was that original trilogy. Now, if you start looking at all the things that have come of it and what they've done with that original trilogy, a lot of it is great. Fucking Andor is fucking, bar none, one of the best fucking shows that I've seen. But then you have the other kinds of shows that have come out, which maybe hurt the franchise. No, other shit. Just changes in storylines, things that mattered in the original trilogy, like fucking Palpatine dying at the hands of Darth Vader, and that being worth nothing because of another movie that came out within its own franchise. So that shit pushed it down to a number 4 for me. I wish it was higher up, but it's again a victim of fucking people just trying to milk that cow till there's nothing left. So that's it.
I'm glad I didn't change my hierarchy because I can just keep talking about this.
Oh,
because
perfect!
My number 4 is Star Wars, and then it was the Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings were like that was keep going back and I ended up going with Star Wars at number 4 just because the original trilogy, as Uble said, it really means a lot to me, and especially now, again, sharing it with my kids, it has come to mean a lot more than before. Shut up, Noel.
Noel, I can see your eyes rolling. They're going down
Noel,
the driveway.
who has no children.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Star Wars trilogy, the original is so fucking good. And yeah, like Uble said, I have to agree with a lot of things that he said. The sequel trilogy, especially the third part with bringing back the Emperor Palpatine, it was just a bad choice. It really was. It felt like it felt like some people got together, like they couldn't. I don't want to get into the Last Jedi thing, but whatever. They couldn't they couldn't just accept what a previous filmmaker was trying to do
Yep.
and just be like, you know what, fuck it, bring back the Emperor. Let's just say
Yeah.
he's always been alive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna abuse the thing.
Nice. Nice.
Let's just say he's always been alive, and fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, and then, but won't that mess up the whole Anakin guy? I don't know. Can you
People
think of a
don't
new
even know who
character?
Anakin
Can you think
is.
of it? What do you want to do with this whole Ryan
Yeah.
Johnson thing? He wants to do like something
Yeah.
complete. We're not gonna do anything new. We're gonna bring back and just do the whole fucking Return of the Jedi, thing all over again. Just let her kill the Emperor. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was such a bad idea. It was God, like from the point of the crawl, like I hated that movie from the point of the crawl because that's when you know the Emperor's still alive, with no real explanation. But anyways, yeah, it ruined that. I'm not a big fan of the prequels. I know Arturo, you are. I think the prequels were also pretty bad. I have enjoyed some of the TV shows. I started watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's been okay actually.
Yeah.
and
That's-
damn it. If people
I'll do it
complain
for
about Alkalites acting, oh my God, the kids in Obi-Wan Kenobi, that girl,
Power Rangers.
terrible.
Leia?
She's
She was
terrible.
amazing.
Terrible.
How dare you?
That's it. I'm done.
You take that back.
All right.
Moving on to my
Hey,
number 4.
hey, we shared the number 4, man.
That was
Look at
very
that.
that was very sweet. My number 4 is a film franchise that we can all agree the first film was fucking amazing, and it is a film franchise I have dedicated the entirety of my left arm to. That's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh.
So where was that sentence going?
I don't know
first
where
movie
my
was
mind
great.
going.
No, these films, man. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam.
The first one rocked.
Just again, no one expected it to be what it was going to be
Nope.
at all,
Nope.
and it just blew all expectations out of the water. It built a huge world and a mythology of it in and of itself.
Yeah.
And it was just like this great
2003.
example of escapism in film, and that's something that I've always really looked for in movies. Like that sheer of you're on an adventure, you're in another world, you're not here, you're not grounded, you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this film was to me. And these characters that were brought to life, Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, fucking Barbossa, they're all so good. Sorry, I was also burping.
Right. No.
And then the fact that it's all based on my personal favorite Disneyland ride. It's just so intertwined with nostalgia and love, and fuck yeah, I love all these films, man. And there's a reason I dedicated.
I was wondering where this was going to be on your list.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number
I'm
four.
Number four.
I actually thought it was going to be at least top 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
I guess I'm.
Which we're
impressed.
on now,
my
top three.
Yeah, will be
Oh, let's do
interesting. Yeah, from here on out. What
So,
are
top 3 for me. My number 3 is actually one that I think maybe one of you may have seen it all the way to the end, but it's the Harry Potter franchise.
they? Oh, nice.
The Harry Potter franchise was one of it's a funny story because I was one of those individuals who spoke down to the Harry Potter fans at first. I always thought it's a kid's magic and without even looking at it. I judged a book by its cover and the plastic that wraps it. I didn't even bother looking into this. So I am guilty of that, and I apologize to all you other Harry Potter fans out there. Formally now, maybe all you fan clubs out there can stop sending me those very aggressive letters because I'm not appreciating it anymore.
How do they
But
have your info?
I posted it online. But listen, the way this, and it's difficult for me to talk about why it's up there without really spoiling anything. And Sam, correct me if I'm wrong. You haven't finished the storyline.
I've only seen 2 movies. The
God
first 2.
damn
God
it.
damn it!
And yeah,
They're
they are.
good.
They're the first 2 are.
Can
not
I spoil
good.
it?
You
Before I use
watched
the
the
gummy.
worst.
Before I use the
well,
gummy.
if your first 2 movies are not good enough, then
No,
why
it's
would
not
I-
that.
You're
It's
supposed to
not that.
watch them
Okay,
as
I'm
a
gonna use
kid.
the I'm gonna use
You
the gummy
grow
bears.
with them, Sam.
Yes, I'm going to use the gummy bears to argue this one. Sorry, I
Sorry
keep
that
hitting
I.
your mic stand. It's
yeah.
not
grow
that
with
I get.
them.
Listen, no, I relate to you, Sam. I know where you're coming from
I
because
need gummy bears.
even now,
Yeah, you need to
as,
throw a gummy bear.
even now as an adult, wait, are you doing that for me or for your own?
Just
when I'm
fucking
done.
No,
start.
you didn't give me gummy bears.
But
I
you
threw-
threw it on the floor. He
It's
just
'cause you're
gave you a
supposed
full
to-
bag.
For
Oh,
the
I
minute,
didn't use
for
the
the
gummy bears.
minute.
No,
Oh
you
shit!
didn't.
I'm so sorry. I didn't throw the gummy bears. I thought I did.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so
Time is gone. Time is going.
The fact is that as an adult, if you try to go back to watch the Harry Potter franchise, it's very difficult. And I know that some might say that alone is enough to say that this is not a good franchise. but the franchise started for kids, and it's a rare. I don't know of any other franchise that started with a specific age range, and then as the franchise progressed in movies, so too did its audience. I don't know
Very
of any
few.
other franchise that has done that.
Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
So for that reason, you're right. There's that one. For that reason, this franchise alone is one that you have to get through those first 3 movies, because you have to remember you were not at the age that those movies were meant for. But that doesn't take away from the way this story ends. If you're following the story of a child who grows up to be this fucking prophecy, then you have to be ready to watch him as a child growing up and becoming that fucking prophet. And that's part of what it is, those
he's
3
Jesus.
movies. So you have to you have to
You
watch
can
them
use
all.
your other gummy bears.
No. I
All
need
right.
it for the top
All
2.
right. All right. My number 3 is
that was good.
one of the greatest trilogies of all time, and that's the Godfather
I
trilogy.
knew it.
That's right, the Godfather franchise. Even
Yeah.
though there's only really 3 movies, thankfully they haven't made any more.
No.
But
I heard
I
there's
think
a new one happening with Will Smith.
no, my God, Jesus Christ. But the first one is
I'd watch it.
the first one
You
is
okay
a
with
goddamn.
that?
You're getting in my time here. Can I get
Yeah.
some more time? I'm not being allowed to talk.
Start the minute again.
All right, here we go.
okay?
So the first one is a goddamn classic. Marlon Brando,
Yeah.
Al Pacino, Robert Duvall. I mean, for God's sakes, this is a fucking like great movie with an awesome cast. Francis Ford Coppola's like masterpiece. And it's just won the Best Picture Oscar as it should have. And then he fucking makes Godfather Part 2, which is just as much of a masterpiece.
Better.
And I don't know if it's better. I think it's about the same. It's about the same. I think the first one is still the best in my opinion. But I mean, The Godfather 2, if it's they're both A+ movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, The Godfather 2 is so fucking good. And then I know a lot of people think The Godfather Part 3 is like this redheaded stepchild or whatever.
Whoa.
Hey, I have a redheaded child that can say that.
Go on, you're wasting time.
But I truly believe that The Godfather Part 3 really concludes the tragedy of Michael Corleone and the American tragedy that he is, and it's really good in my opinion. That's all I don't want to waste my gummy bears.
Very nice, man.
Okay. It's funny because like when you had texted us about that, but I would consider the Godfather trilogy a franchise. I'm like, that's going on your list.
Oh yeah.
I knew that.
Well, here is a franchise that, if you know me pretty well, I think you would have guessed it's on here, and it's a very largely encompassing film franchise because there's so many IPs littered across it now, but it's been around since the fucking 40s, and that is Universal Monsters.
Oh, interesting.
wow.
I like how you did that.
Yeah, I thought it was
you're
going
trying
somewhere
to-
else. I thought it was going in a different direction.
I know you did, which I also have tattooed on my body. Yeah, man, the Universal horror films as a whole, like I distinctly remember seeing Dracula for the very first time on a screen and just being so glued to it, and this whole like this black and white like film that just drew me in, and this character that just like was so compelling and so charismatic and so unnatural, and that just literally led into my love for horror and Halloween and monsters and creatures as a whole. And then the film franchise was the first cinematic universe, I'd say. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I would
But
say
the way
so,
the-
yeah.
the-
I mean, they
these
did
crossovers
combine
happened,
Frankenstein
yeah,
and Dracula and
Wolfman,
Wolfman.
and like there was so much of this, and then it kept continuing with films like the eventual Van Helsing and Dracula Untold, and even though it's unsure of what's happening now, but it's
Time's up.
still happening with like The Invisible Man, which was an incredibly well-made film, and who knows what's going to happen with the future of these films. I know Wolfman is in the works, and I believe Bride of Frankenstein. Excuse me. But these films just mean so much to me in terms of like how it brought to life like such a passion of mine. And when the Halloween season rolls around, it's always very exciting because then you see these creatures all over again. And I go to Universal Studios and Universal Horror Nights, and it's just so intertwined with that. And I think they've just become an iconic part of cinema as a whole. You think back to this era of this golden era of Hollywood, and you see Bela Lugosi, and you see these characters, and you see Boris Karloff, and it's just
I don't know any of those names.
Those
No.
are very famous actors. man.
God damn
Oh
it.
shit! Sorry.
Dracula and Frankenstein, which
Oh,
I
got it,
have
got it.
here. Woo!
Very nice.
But yeah, it dictated.
Also, Mummy. I think Boris.
Yeah,
played Mummy.
he did it as well. Yeah, it's a good point. But it dictated so much of my love now, and it's still very much up there for me personally. Yeah.
Damn good pick, Arturo.
Thank you.
That's a good one. I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't think about that.
That's a
Fucking
lot.
A.
Thanks, Sam.
Damn.
Yeah, that does mean a lot.
Damn good pick.
Yeah.
Damn good pick.
I mean,
Go,
as far as how huge it is, you're right. It is the first cinematic universe, and that shit's fucking saying a lot. It goes way back.
Yeah.
So my number 2.
I would like to change my number 10.
Can't do that. Can't do that, man.
Go for it.
My number 2 is one that it's maybe one of 2 franchises, which happen to just be my top 2, that managed to nail each and every single one of the movies in a way that I didn't think they would be capable of, and in a way that still holds up. And for me, my number 2 is the Toy Story franchise.
Oh shit! That is not what I expected to hear.
Listen, I want you to really think about this Toy Story franchise with how it starts and how it ends and what's in the middle. And you're looking at these toys who have been with this child since he was a child, and we all remember playing with toys. I know Arturo does. Fucking WrestleMania 48 over here. Sam, I know, plays with toys.
Fight Fest?
Fight Fest. Thank
Fight
you.
Fest. There you go. I
Thank you for
apologize for
remembering.
getting the name wrong. I never paid for the pay-per-view. So we all know the significance of what it is to play with toys.
Yeah.
And then you get to see this movie where it starts off with that, and you're like, man, that would be fucking awesome if the toys would have been able to talk back to me. Fuck, if they would have been living their own lives after I was done playing with them. That's great. And then you see part 2, and you're like, oh shit, man, I can totally fucking relate to this. Like, what would happen if that? And then part 3 of this, I'm gonna use it. Yeah.
Wait.
Oh man,
What happened?
we're just gonna have to continue to talk about it if that's in someone else's list. What I'm trying to say is part 3 of this fucking franchise, I think, is probably the best closure, even though there was a part 4, the best closure to a trilogy of movies revolving around fucking toys.
Oh,
The,
as
the
a
character,
whole, I'd
the
argue,
character
honestly.
development of each of these characters, Andy included, that scene where they're about to fall into the fiery pit, and they just accept it. They just hold hands and they give each other this look of like, we're done. We've completed.
The way they held hands.
We've completed our story arc. We've been there.
timing.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Never clicked on it.
going.
You never started it? Fuck yeah. Technicality. Woo. So let me start from the beginning. In 1995, there was this computer company called Pixar.
Yep.
And it enveloped. No, but seriously, let's start with that as well, because if you all remember, that technology that they used for this movie, this is the first one that didn't do animation the way we were used to. It broke that
Beast
fucking
Wars might
barrier.
have been earlier. But
Yeah, Beast
it
Wars
was the
on
first
TV.
film, I'd
But
say.
yes, to my point, it gave you something visually, which very few movies have like to experience something for the first time.
Yeah.
Imagine going to the cinema and watching a movie in color for the first time. Imagine going to the theater and watching a movie in surround sound for the first time.
Yeah.
We experienced that. We saw this movie in this animation that we've never seen before, and the story was good. The trilogy was good. The ending was good. The music was great. I'll take this to my grave. Toy Story. God damn it! Fucking shit! Toy Story. Toy Story.
Don't
franchise.
worry, I'm gonna give you a second chance because my number 2 is also the Toy Story
Oh,
franchise.
shit, too!
That's
Oh,
what,
wow,
that's what I was
nice.
trying to stop you because wait a
it's-
minute,
it's
I'm
too
gonna
late.
give you another minute.
Damn it!
Yeah, when you were doing your little setup, I was like, he's gonna say the Toy Story franchise. Damn it, he's gonna steal it from me.
You knew it!
I was gonna do the same kind of thing. I am going to correct you because when you were talking about the Harry Potter franchise, you were saying no other franchise has done this thing where you grow up with the movies. Toy Story has done that. Where
you're right.
if you go
All
Toy
right.
Story 1 and up to
Yeah.
Toy Story 3, I still
You
think
grew
4 is
up with
great.
Andy.
You grew up up with Andy, and when
And it's his.
Andy gives his toys away, I don't know why you guys talking about the whole fire
I
thing. When
know,
they're,
that
the
scene,
saddest
yeah.
scene still is when
That's
he.
the happiest
For
scene.
me, that was
No,
the
it's
beautiful.
it's the
No,
most
for me, it was
beautiful.
beautiful, yeah.
It's sad. It's
Beautiful.
beautiful and sad at the same time because
Yeah.
it's that loss of innocence that we all have to go
Yep.
through, and that's
The
what Andy.
acceptance.
Yeah, Andy is going through that he can no longer be a child. He has to grow up.
can you tell
He
me
has to
goosebumps?
be. Do another minute, please.
Yes.
He has to, be an adult now, and he's
Yeah.
doing his last time that he's gonna play with his toys. And I don't know why that scene to me was like so beautiful. Every time I watch it, I still
I'm
get
getting
teared up.
goosebumps, like legit
I still
goosebumps
tear
right
up.
now,
Like
man.
no franchise has made me cry as much as the fucking Toy Story
Consistently.
franchise.
You
Yes,
can put it on right now, and I will fucking bawl.
yeah, it fucking makes me cry. And
Yep.
even though I wasn't happy when they made a fourth movie, the fourth movie is still
It's
pretty
still fucking
good.
great. Yes.
The fourth movie is so good. So that every movie,
Yeah, that's Keanu
all
Reeves.
4 movies are A's or better
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I guarantee you,
Maybe-
when my kids go off to college, I'm gonna look at part 4 and I'm gonna fucking lose it because part 4 is about Woody needing to feel useful. Andy,
yeah.
his child is gone,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have this purpose.
Yeah, it's true.
And
It
that's what
actually
part 4
it
is.
told the
So
story that we
Forky
didn't
will be your
think.
cats.
Well, I'm a little worried because they're gonna make a 5th one, and
That's
I don't
true.
know what the fuck they're gonna do. It's supposed to be more about
iPads.
Buzz, I guess, but I don't
No,
know.
it's supposed to be.
There's
I'm
there's
gonna-
an
oh, I
image,
can't.
yeah, of like Bonnie playing with an iPad,
an iPad and
kids
the
are,
toys
like,
are
waiting
watching
to
her.
be played
Oh
with.
man,
It's about
okay.
to be the battle between kids nowadays playing with actual toys and having their.
Well, let's see
electronics.
how it
I think it was
goes.
a Robot Chicken episode.
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes. I'm out of time, but Toy
All right,
Story.
number 2.
God damn,
Good
so
choices,
good.
good choices, guys. All right, my number 2 is a film franchise. It's that has had one common IP, but it is branched off into so many fucking directions. And I've loved the entire fucking ride.
This is
and that
not
is
your number 1?
every film based on Marvel Comics.
Wow.
Like from Blade, from the get-go, man. And
Oh, you didn't separate those out.
No.
I thought you were gonna do
You just put it
MCU.
all Marvel.
It's
All
I mean
Marvel
it's become
is a
basically
franchise.
the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse
Okay.
That's yeah.
with
All
Deadpool
right, that's
and
true. I
Wolverine.
guess you're right. Blade
Like,
is in now.
It
yeah.
is,
he's
and
in.
like, and there, I mean, even before it was in just this whole idea of again, kind of like as I mentioned with the Batman, but like bringing these characters to life, and the way it's been done repeatedly so well. Yes, there's been films that aren't that great, especially in those mid 2000s.
The Multiverse of Madness. Yes,
Yeah.
especially that one.
No, fuck you, fuck you.
Fighting words.
That was a little rip
no,
from the
but-
last
Back
one.
after this.
I mean, as a whole, man, the way these characters have been brought to life and the way these films have, for the overwhelming most part, just been able to do. And as Sam mentioned, because the MCU was on his list of film franchises, the story they were able to tell, specifically in the Infinity Saga, nothing's been done quite like that.
No.
And you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And I love that my boy is recognizing these characters and the fact that I can go through this entire journey with him one day, because we're going to be starting at Blade and just going all the way to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
How
Starting
old he'll
at
be,
Blade,
I don't know.
The
I was
R-rated.
gonna say, I hope you're not starting tomorrow because he's like
All right, here we
yes,
go.
Marvel
Number
Comics.
1.
my number 1, and we're gonna do honorable mentions after this, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. So my number 1, surprise, surprise, motherfucker already pulled it up on the screen.
He did.
Is the Airbud Saga. Burn, bitch!
All 14 movies.
Yeah, all 14 movies. They all stand up. The dog doesn't age. No, I'm using my time. So, fucking Lord of the Rings, man. I know both of you guys have spent some time talking about it, and it's awesome. Yes, you guys have said you hit all the talking points, but I feel like you still didn't do it with oomph. Like the fuck. Let's start with the fucking casting.
we were also waiting for you.
Before anything is done, yeah, that's true. Thank you for being considerate. Before any movie becomes a movie, they go through the casting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a movie without the casting. And I will argue with anyone who steps foot on my house that this movie has the best fucking casting there ever has been. I cannot think of another movie where I would say this character could have been better portrayed by insert your blank.
Yeah.
This fucking movie alone with casting. And then let's go into fucking music. The fucking score to this
Yeah.
movie. I run to the score of this music when I'm doing my exercise because it's fucking everything to me. It inspires.
use
It
a
fucking
bag.
flows. Has that been a minute?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yes.
You have that shit on fucking twice the speed. God, I'm not gonna have enough time. Can I just have
No.
this fucking movie? Okay, and then we talk about the characters. Yes, it's based on a book, and this book is fucking amazing. I mean, you're talking about this person that created a universe. You cannot argue with someone when they say, "Oh, I don't like where it went with this character," and this fucking book is great, and he gave us enough fucking. He gave us enough fucking content to create multiple movies, prequels, sequels, interquels, everything that you want to. And then the story.
A new animated film
the
coming
fact
out this
that,
December.
Listen, the character of Aragon, fucking.
Yes.
I argue
Man's
for you
man.
to present to me a character that is both manly in the manliest ways, but still sincere, still fucking.
It's the best
like-
example
like
of
it's-
And
manliness.
it's because of the movies that he's a better character. Because in the books,
Yes, in the
he's
books
not as
he's
good.
not. In the books he's a bit of a arrogant
His moments.
person, but I'm talking about the movies. We're not doing the fucking franchise of the books. God damn it!
It's
I
fine.
need gummies. I just fucking need some gummies. Man. I will do whatever you want for some gummies.
You should have
man.
saved it,
Just
man.
fucking- I got to argue about Scream. Come on, man. All right, fucking fine.
It did
For
good.
the record, Sam has one gummy bag left. I have 2.
All right, I'm gonna do my
Show
number
off.
one, and I think it was also obvious. I think. What do you think my number one is?
Batman.
That's correct.
Yeah. It was either that or Old Boy.
Oh boy, no, no.
Batman.
Yeah,
Batman. It's always been
Batman.
Batman.
I mean, Batman is, as Arturo said, Batman has come multiple times and saved
Yes,
the
he
superhero
has.
genre. Back in the 80s, when everybody was saying, like, no, superheroes can't be serious. Superman had already gone all campy. Batman previously was campy with the TV show.
Yeah. Yep.
Tim Burton comes out with Michael Keaton's Batman, and it was a dark, grounded, and, like, you know, it was an adult superhero movie. I mean,
Yep.
Jack Nicholson was the Joker. It was the first
good.
iconic performance of a
Took it
Joker
seriously.
on film, with many more to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Batman Returns was great. The Schumacher movies should be forgotten. but then after
never
that,
existed.
we had that null of, you know, during the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
where, you know,
the-
superhero movies were again starting to become thought of as, like, not serious
They're
and
very-
whatnot.
very
And
formulaic.
then boom, here comes Batman Begins and the Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy,
Yeah.
which creates not only a new way of looking at Batman, but also, like, as Arturo said, he said it really well, films that are not just great as superhero movies, but great as films in general. And
Yeah.
I'll keep doing my but even though I think the original Batman 89 is not only good as a superhero movie, but also good as a movie
Story.
in
I
general.
agree.
But yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is considered one of the best trilogies of all time. The Dark Knight, as Arturo said, I mean, everybody seems to, it ends up as, like, some of the top 10 best movies of all time. A lot of people have that on their, like, you know, top 100, whatever. So yeah, Batman. And then, as you said, I'm repeating a lot of things because you said it so well. Matt Reeves is
you.
the Batman, is, again, another reinterpretation of it. And it's also just as good. There's something about this character that it just allows for so many interpretations, and it can be good.
Yep.
And I think it's because he is the best fucking superhero of all time.
I would
And
argue
I
that
admire
one.
because he's a human. And we haven't even started talking about the villains. The Joker is one of the most
best
iconic
fucking rogues
most
gallery ever.
iconic
Yes.
villains of
Yeah.
all time. And as Ula said, yes, we've had so many iconic performances. My God, it can go on and on and on. Batman is the best.
I like that.
I
was
respect
good.
that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I agree.
All right, you're
Oh, my number one. This okay. I knew this film franchise was gonna be in my top 10. I just didn't know where and how high it was gonna go because I was battling back and forth a lot between basically my top 2. But the good in these film series definitely outweigh the bad, and that is Star Wars.
That's your number one.
My number one,
I did
just
not expect
from
that.
the theme song, man. Like it
Yeah.
just brings back
No,
so
Star
much.
Wars is huge.
So many memories of the original trilogy, and it being just this multi-generational thing of, like, my mom showed it to me, I'm showing it to my son, and
Yeah.
like we play the animated series of Young Jedi Adventures, and he lights up and he recognizes characters, and for me, it's just like this fact that's like it's been this hugely, like, overarching story over time. I have my issues with the sequel trilogy. I have them a lot.
Sure.
But mostly ignoring that and just focusing on this bigger world that's been brought to life and how it's incorporated so much of like this movement within community and with fan culture and pop culture, and like Christmas rolls around, and because of The Force Awakens, now I associate Star Wars with Christmas, and it's so intertwined. Every time I hear the theme song and see an opening crawl, I burst into tears. I'm so excited to be part of this larger world. And Anakin Skywalker is the best fictional character of all time with the best story arc. That's it.
Not anymore because they ruined it.
I'm throwing an empty baggie because I had gummies earlier.
You ate that one. It doesn't count. You have to throw
It's
this
true,
one.
it counts. What if I need one? What if I need one later? Anakin Skywalker within his storyline that we got across the 6 films, and that's why episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, means so much to me, because it was this culminating
Episode
chapter
3,
of this story that took place, and just having that bridge into it. And I can't wait for you to explore more of Obi-Wan, because for its faults, its bridge into the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is done so well, and just gives even more gravitas to their relationship going forward, and just creating these characters that become like larger than life, man.
If I can have a few seconds,
Yeah, go for it.
I will agree to that, which is a lot of the side projects that came out of Star Wars, like your Clone Wars, your fucking Rebels. These shows add more content to the story that already exists. On some few occasions, and this is where I lose interest, is when they kind of lessen the original story, but it rarely happens, or it doesn't happen a lot, but the huge times it's happened. Sorry, I took a lot of time.
No, you're fine. It's I got everything basically out, but yeah, that's my number one, and I'm glad that at least it's somewhere in your guys' appreciation. For
Yeah,
films
we
as
all
well.
had Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
Tattoos of it.
It's kind of undeniable, that one. Anyways,
be a
all
thing.
right. So should we take a minute to do our
Honorable mentions?
honorable mentions?
Yeah. How should we make them up? Like,
Or
30
should we
seconds
just
each, or
scream
say
them out like we used to do?
Oh no! I mean, we could just like share a couple of seconds. Like,
I mean,
I'm interested to hear why these didn't make your top 10.
I had Back to the Future. It almost made my top
nice.
10. That was like my number 11. I mean, I had a lot of horror stuff. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday
Halloween
the
was on
13th.
mine, but it's
But-
again the
Didn't
first
make
one
yours.
was really
Only
really
the
good.
first and second
then
one are good, and
I
the
mean,
rest is
I
just so
enjoyed
bad.
You can
4,
fade out
2018.
as we're arguing
But no,
this.
there's a couple
But
more.
give it a few seconds.
Like for like
Yeah, there's a few more.
Yeah,
I want to say
go ahead.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay.
I didn't include Jurassic Park or Marvel. For me, those were honorable mentions. They made your guys'
I'm
list.
shocked that Marvel didn't make it.
Yeah.
anywhere near yours.
I will be honest. I regret not adding it on my
Yeah.
list. But it was.
That's
I didn't
surprising.
think about
I got it
doing
on my
all of-
list
I know.
and you
That's
didn't.
why I was shocked.
What the fuck's wrong
I
with
just
you?
didn't think about Marvel as a franchise. I
We
thought about
talked-
it.
That was the main example.
That
I
was what we
skipped
argued.
during the
This is
argument.
what we argued about the most. Is
Yeah.
what part of Marvel counts.
I thought we landed on individual characters were allowed to be franchised.
No, we didn't.
I guess I misinterpreted
I even
that
said
part.
the last text. Okay, so we're all agreeing this.
Yeah, and I was
it-
confused because I was like, is he trying to be like tricky, or is he trying to say it's the opposite?
Before we go, I want to name two
Yeah.
ones that are not usually thought of, but it's the Man with No Name trilogy, which is
hell
Good,
yeah.
the Bad,
Dirty
the
Harry?
Ugly,
Dirty
Fistful
Harry?
of Dollars.
yep.
Not
Clint
Dirty
Eastwood.
Harry. Dirty
Sure,
Harry is
Walker.
another franchise, but also the Cheech and Chong franchise.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
man.
Yeah,
okay,
for all you
yeah.
potheads out there,
Yeah.
you deserve that one.
I like it.
I also had the Terminator honor mentions, Jurassic Park, Scream,
That was mine.
Nice.
but that's about it.
I had on my list Mad Max because I do
Oh,
really
yeah,
enjoy
as a
that world
franchise.
and the film
That's
as
a
a
good
whole.
one.
It just didn't quite hit
Yeah.
as high, but I've had a great time with them all. Third, DCEU was also an honorable
Wow,
mention.
nobody mentioned
because
DCEU.
it started off
Not even in
great,
my honorable
but then it
mentions.
just everything
Not
went
even included.
All
everywhere.
right, then. There you go.
And last
right.
two, the Alien series, the Xenomorphs. I love
Oh
them.
yeah,
yeah.
I should have had that in my honorable mentions. Fuck.
Yeah,
And
you fucked up.
Put that in
one
there.
that Sam hates, the John Wick series.
I don't
that
hate
one
that.
also.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
Sam
I
hates
don't
it
hate
so
that.
much, dude.
No.
He just will not stop talking
Oh,
about how
and
much he hates. The
Very last thing
franchise.
that I thought was originally on my list, but then when we were agreed on it had to be a trilogy at least.
Yeah.
Dude.
Of course. Yeah,
Dude,
that
it's
one.
heading
But
there.
it's not there
It's
yet.
heading
Technically,
there.
there's 3 movies now.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it's not out yet.
No,
Also, if
there's
I may-
there's the
Oh,
80s.
true,
There's the
that's
80s
true, the
version.
80s
I don't want my
version.
research
Oh,
to go to
shit,
waste.
you're
I'm sure
right.
no one's watching, but my top 5 French fries. I'm gonna start with.
All right, you
number
can fade out
1,
here.
Burger
Please
King.
like and subscribe.
King.
Number
Fuck
2,
you. Oh my
number
God,
2, Carl's
why?
Jr. Number
Burger
3,
King.
What is wrong
McDonald's.
with you?
Number
Did
4.
you just say Burger
No,
King?
oh
Fuck
God,
Chick-fil-A.
McDonald's and In-N-Out belong at the
Please
top.
like and subscribe.
Number 5.
And as always,
I don't know.
Dark Knight.
yeah.
Have a dark French fry.